Governor Pence said, if you read the bill instead of reading the papers, you will see that the act is simply about setting the Indiana law to the standard of other states with the same law. Shortly after Pence signed the bill, many companies rejected the new proposition. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff announced that he would no longer send employees or customers to Indiana. The NCAA, which held the Final Four men's basketball tournament in Indianapolis, also expressed concerns. Earlier, the bill was passed. The city's largest convention, Gen Con, threatened to take its 56,000 attendees to another state when its contract with the Indiana Convention Center expires in 2020. This would cause Indiana to lose $50 million annually due to this convention. This was threatening Indiana majorly with major loss in money. Yelp, Lilly, NCAA, Salesforce.com, NBA, Wilco, Twitter, Gap, and Subaru are also a few companies that spoke out and opposed the bill, stating that they would never reject a person from their sales company due to their sexuality. On March 28, 2015, an estimate of over 3,000 people gathered in downtown Indianapolis to protest against the act that was created. Protests are still being continued today.
Along with Indiana, 19 states have conducted their own version of the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act for many different reasons. This law was passed in Indiana by Republican Governor Mike Pence and will go into effect July 1, 2015. The goal of this bill is to protect any business from being sued by a private lawsuit and would also like to keep companies free exercise. However, this can be interpreted differently by different types of people.
The Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993 is a federal law that aims at preventing laws that substantially burden a person's free exercise of their religion. The purpose of the act was to protect religious individuals and organizations against government interference with the practice of their faith. One can bring a lawsuit against the federal, state, or local government if she or she believes that the laws or other governmental actions substantially burden their religious practices. In such actions, the government must demonstrate that its actions served as compelling interests, that there were no less restrictive ways to accomplish its goals. The state version provides that a state or local government action may not substantially burden a person's rights to the exercise of religion unless it is demonstrated that applying the burden to the person's exercise of religion. The difference in the law is saying that Indiana law is written more broadly than its part. It basically protects the company from denying anyone who has belief of anything, profit or nonprofit, word for word, whether the entity is organized and operated for profit or nonprofit purposes.
Of the act feared that it would allow Indiana businesses to discriminate against gays and lesbians. After national backlash, however, the law was amended. From National Laws Review's article titled Indiana Amends Religious Freedom Restoration Act to Prohibit Discrimination, posted on Friday, April 10, 2015. The act may not be used to discriminate in the providing of services, facilities, use of public accommodation, goods, employment, or housing on the basis of race, color, religion, ancestry, age, national origin, disability, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or United States military service. The IRFRA and the amendment go into effect on July 1, 2015. Since the act has been revised, the state is hiring global PR firm Porter Novelli to help rebuild the state's image of the wake of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Most of Indiana stood by the LGBT community. However, most students still are uninformed about what exactly happened in an article by Newsweek titled The RFRA Under the Radar that explained only 15% of college students statewide have posted about the topic. Hopefully this video will help Ball State University stay informed and keep you in the loop.
Welcome to Indiana News Desk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, whether the so-called Religious Freedom Restoration Act is a form of protection or a form of discrimination depends upon who you ask. On one side, you have supporters arguing the statute is necessary to protect people from the government enacting policy that can restrict the freedom of religion. On the other side, opponents say the measure will duplicate existing federal law and allow for blatant discrimination. Sarah Whitmire reports on the measure's potential implications as it advances through the legislature.
Honestly, I haven't made much of a point to learn anything about it. However, I know that neither side is giving any leeway, and so it's getting kind of annoying.
Really don't know all that much about the law. I know it exists in a couple other states, but it's a really big deal here and maybe Arkansas, I think. So that's about all I know.
Hi, well, I don't know much about this law, but I think it's bogus. I think the state or government needs to stay out of religion, period, so yeah.
Serves everyone. But there's more to the sticker on the door of this downtown Indianapolis ice cream shop. Josh Driver came up with the idea for the Open for Service project. He says it's a way for customers to know which businesses open their doors to everyone, regardless of race, sexual orientation, or religion. Driver says it wasn't his goal to make a political statement.
It was more to just focus on or answer the need of where can I take my business where I know that I'm not going to be turned away, or that does believe in the same things that I do.
I don't really know much about the religious freedom thing going on. I don't know anything about the Religious Freedom Act, but I mean, hopefully I can learn a lot more.
I personally don't know a lot about the amendment, so I really don't have that big of an opinion until I read it. There we go.
As a business owner, I'm not really sure why anybody would turn somebody away for the sake of income. But I do respect people's decision to do what they feel is right.
We have seen what's going on in so many various states and cities throughout the country where we realize that religious freedom is at risk.
I don't know a lot about the RFRA Act, but I do know that it takes away rights and that there's a large legal aspect to it that I don't really understand, but I still think it's wrong.
All I know about it is that it started out of something really small and it built out to be this huge thing. I don't necessarily agree about it at all, but it's happening and it's sad that we're going backwards instead of progressing forward. So, yeah.
I do know about it, and I know the controversies surrounding it. I just don't feel like I've read the bill or I'm educated enough to have like some sort of strict opinion. I do have an opinion about it, but I don't feel like it's justified enough by like the research that I've done. So, I mean, I do understand the controversy surrounding it, but yeah. So I mean, I don't agree with the bill, but that's just a personal opinion.
Religious leaders and supporters of the measure rallied at the State House this week with a consistent message. Indiana legislators need to step up to make sure the First Amendment is protected and upheld. Indiana Right to Life President Mike Fichter calls the potential scenarios nearly infinite.
Some of the ways that we believe Senate Bill 101 might be helpful include protecting a caterer's right based on faith principles to decline catering a fundraising event for an abortion business, or protecting a commercial property owner's right based on his faith principles to decline renting or selling property that would be used specifically for an abortion clinic.
In 1993, President Clinton signed the Federal Religious Freedom Act, but 19 states have adopted their own RFRA language, and a handful of others have clauses in their state constitutions that afford the same type of protection.
I don't know a ton about the RFRA bill. I've done a little bit of research, but definitely not as much as I probably should.
I don't think it's actually a bill anymore after Mike Pence pretty much lost and they pretty much nullified the bill with the new amendment to it. So it was horrible, but it's better now.